Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio. And now, here's our host, Dr. Vanessa Anceloni.
Welcome, dear listener, to Kardec Radio. We are here live from the Virginia, Chantilly, Virginia studios at Kardec Radio, and we are very, very happy to be here with you. It's a single opportunity for us to gather together and think about the reasons we're living this life. And today we have a special guest, Jodi Hershey. She's going to be here with us talking about her latest book, Call of the Day. It's about spiritual illumination, how much the Spiritist teachings are bridged up into these universal teachings. We're going to be talking to her, and you're welcome to join us and ask her questions, okay? Right now, we're going to stream a beautiful message as a message to set the tone for the program. Soon after this, we're going to be able to talk to Jodi Hershey about Call of the Day.
So. Each heart is like a parcel of spiritual land. Many will be buried by the stones of prejudice at the side of others who got entangled by the thorns of illusion, needing enormous time to break free. However, think about the good land not in use. This is where elements that generate inertia are found. Abandoned lands, orphaned lands, creatures who are anxious for the fertilizer of faith, souls who beg for a modest garden of hope and comfort. These troubled, forgotten lands will often look for you. Your vision will open up through the fatigue of the parents where pain manifests, tortures, and consumes, through the disillusionment of your sad fellows who carry in their hearts the ashes of their own dreams, through the problems of the child who is consumed by revolt, through the trials of your brothers and sisters who cry smiling so that you may not see the debris of their resentment. If you can already hear the sublime sower proclaiming, so, you know that charity is the sun that sweeps the shadows. You bring within you the gift to sprinkle comfort. You can pronounce the blessed word. You can pour what is left from the purse, transforming the coin in a prayer of joy. You have the strong arm which lifts up the fallen. Your fingers are capable of mending the strings broken by suffering in others' hearts, attuning them to the sound of the fraternal music. You have the privilege of sharing clothes you no longer need with those less fortunate. Nothing hinders you from helping the sick. Nobody prevents you from building in the road the good for those who are here and for those who are to come. Do not deter yourself in the emptiness of the shadows. Plant truth and light, joy and goodness. If you perceive the voice of the sublime sower, you will hear him at each step of the way, confidently saying closer to your ears, work while you can, and so.
Yes, dear listener, it's all about sowing seeds of love, sowing seeds of hope and joy, because we are awake. We know many people are living this dream state, lots of nightmares. They see the convulsions of the world and they're like, oh my God, what's going on? What's happening? Is it the end of the world? Oh, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's not the end of the world. It's not anything but the natural process of our evolution. Yes, it is, believe it or not. Now we're awakening ourselves and seeing things that, for the longest time we haven't seen. And So fitting for the second Saturday program of the year at Kardec Radio, because we have programs 7 days a week, and now we have Kardec Radio 24/7 for you at kardecradio.com. We are going to talk today about spiritual illumination. And the Spiritist teachings teach us a lot about it, but it's so universal. You can find it in several places. And today especially, we are dedicating to a book that was recently published called The Call of the Day by Jodi Hershey, and she's here with us. We're very grateful to her and for her presence here. You can go to her website, joyjourneyofyou.com, joyjourneyofyou.com. Jodi Hershey graduated from the University of Maryland with a bachelor's in art and education. Her expertise is in holistic education for adults and children. She's also the author of the book Thoughts to Consider with Love. She's a trained psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, and basic, advanced, and past life regression. And for more than 15 years, she has provided support as a hypnotherapist, psychic, intuitive reader, and spiritual counselor. And she is a psychic reader. She sees and she can perceive the beyond. Mediums, we call it mediums. Clairaudience is one of her mediumistic faculties. And she is honored to help people. What a joy, huh? No wonder she's the founder of Joy Journey of You. And she lives in Taos, New Mexico, and also Miami Beach, Florida. If you want more information, go to Joy Journey of You. And today in this program, I want to make special big hug I want to send to our dear faithful listener, Abby Sher. It's her birthday. What a beautiful new cycle of your life, Abby. I hope you feel the joy of living as you usually do and keep doing this fantastic work you're doing to help others in the greater Baltimore area, in Maryland. And we love Baltimore. We love Maryland. And that's, by the way, where I began my story in the United States. Yes, it is, through Washington, D.C., 19 years ago. Can you believe it? Love America, America, America. Yes, God bless America and the world. And we're going to talk about something that is so fitting for the current times. It's about these ego-driven lives that many people are living. And Jodi Hershey wrote this book, The Call of the Day, as a compelling invitation to see beyond the turbulence of our ego-driven lives and connect with who we really are, not our material outward-looking self, but the spiritual entity that dwells eternal in each of us. By the way, the medium Chico Xavier, he mentioned that 70% of people are so attached to their material lives that when they discarnate, they come back and they stay attached and connected and struggling and creating problems for other people because each one has their own turn. We can't come back and say, this is mine, but there are many spirits that are still living that life. So we need to pay attention to this and much more. We're going to open the line to our dear Jodi Hershey. Let us welcome with a lot of love and gratitude. Thank you so much, Jodi, for being with us at Kardec Radio today, January 14th, 2017. How are you, Jodi?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's a great honor.
Thank you. And, we're talking in your book, you have this beautiful invitation about this, the way we see ourselves as a spiritual entity, right? This spiritual journey. Right. Can you tell us a little bit how you, in this life, found your spiritual journey, your awakening? How was it, Jodi?
Well, it's a long process. If I went back to an age number, I probably was in my 30s. And what happens is that when we're ready to start learning new things, information starts to come in. And I was very much driven by my ego life. I didn't know anything about spirituality except that I knew I had certain gifts, but what to do with them. And I've been on this journey for over 30 years. And it started with, usually it starts with a crisis. And for me, that's what happened. You know, so I was working nonstop, 24 hours a day, and raising kids. And what happened was I came down with chronic fatigue syndrome. And I wasn't able to work in the fast lane anymore. I needed to, put me to bed for months and months and months. So it brought me to, I need to learn other things. I need to come from my true self and not just my ego self. And so at that point I had to go to bed, and I realized I had to let go of my old life. And so that's what I did. It took a lot of courage and a tremendous amount of time to process that. However, I got through it. I got on my feet again. I had left my job. I left my home. I left my marriage. And I went to Taos, New Mexico to live and heal. And from that point on, I've been on a real spiritual journey and feeling well.
Wow. Would you say, based on your experience professionally, personally, that inevitably people will have to go through the crisis pathway to get to this awakening?
I don't want to. People do need to let go of what they're holding on to that is no longer of service to them. The longer we hang on to it, the harder it's going to be to live in this new conscious world. So the sooner the better to get through it so that you can live a life of joy and service. No matter what we do in our lives as our profession, we're doing a service for somebody.
Yes.
So
yes, that's,
yeah.
But Jodi, the reality as you describe in your latest book, The Call of the Day, many people are in this, they are unaware. And they are born, and the parents sometimes don't even know why they had a child, or they think it's just a certificate of, adulthood, and they don't know what to do with it. They don't even know how to educate the child. We need degrees for every single thing on this earth, but to be parents, we don't need any training, any preparation, any degree whatsoever. So the result of it all is that people are going to be aware of who they are much later, if they are. And like Paul of Tarsus, Saul of Tarsus, the apostle of Jesus, he had to go through his own journey in Damascus and the pain and the conflict to actually find the true purpose of his life. So in your book, you describe how we can work, very practically, how you can work to this deep awakening. So where would you say we begin? Because you talk about chakras and dimensions.
Yes. Well, I think we would begin to start to recognize the difference between our ego self and our soul self. The ego self is where most of us live. We're always in our head with the, I'm good, I'm bad, what if not, if I get this, I'll be better. We're looking for answers on the outside and from an ego perspective instead of going inside and finding what it is that's important to us and learn to live it. So first we want to recognize that we're coming from an ego self, but we are called now to come from our soul self, which is you can feel what's right with your soul. So it's all about feeling. It's not about thinking. It's about trusting your instincts and your intuition to guide you to who you really are and how you want to live this life of yours. So that's where it all really begins, and wanting to know that what your soul self is and what your joy is and your essence. So that's where we would start.
And it's interesting, Jodi, because you also work with children, and many parents, we also have spirituality and spiritism for children in our centers around the world, but many, many parents don't know how to begin working on the spirituality of their children. Since you've been working on it, and this is just a little bit like a stretch from the topic, but since you have experience on it, would you like to share a little bit some tips for parents who are listening to us on how they can work on the spirituality of their children?
Yes, certainly. Well, I think one of the most important things is to honor who our children are. They all are their own individual spirits. They all come in with different gifts, no matter what they have, or whether they're deformed or they're normal or they have ADD. Every child has their own special gift. And we need to honor that and look at that first of all. Second of all, we're on, with the ego self, we've been on this train, I call it, of self-esteem with our children instead of self-worth. And so I would say to parents, try to work from their self-worth, because self-esteem is comparing them. So you're saying, okay, Johnny's going to baseball and he hit a home run, so he's special. And so they learned that that's what they have to do to be special. Instead of, or the child will say, I didn't hit a home run, I'm no good. They'll go into those thought processes. So it's important for the parent to bring out the other gifts that they have. Maybe Johnny doesn't like baseball. Maybe that's not where he excels. So I think it's really important to spend time with our children, look at the gifts that our children have, and honor them and give them activities that honor who they are, one. And two, you've just got to love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. Because the bottom line with all human beings is we just want to know we're loved.
Interesting. That's very, very unique. Self-worth and not attached to the contingencies of the everyday life. That's very interesting. Yesterday we were studying, Jodi, with our community online, this book, Thought in Life, by the Spirit Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, and he says that usually we classify ourselves as good or bad according to the types of feelings and thoughts we have inside of us. So also much of your book talks about this, about how this self-talk, how our thoughts create our own lives. It's such a beautiful part of your book, too. Can you actually elaborate on this for the listener as a reference to the book, The Call of the Day, please?
Yeah, it's about qualifying our lives. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, my dog got in my way and I missed it. Sorry.
Sure. It's about, when we talk about how much our thoughts and this self-talk create our lives. And you talk about it in the book. Can you tell us more about it? Thank you.
Yes. So it's about paying attention. What I do and I suggest doing is one day write down, if you can, in different aspects, all the negative things that you're saying to yourself. Like, how many times have you said, I'm fat? How many times did you say, I'm not a good wife or I'm not a good husband? and start to look at your pattern of thinking. Then look at a positive way to look at yourself by listing, how could I say this differently to myself? And what we need to do is really just pay attention to how we talk to ourselves inside.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, so what I do is I make different lists so I can compare. And the other thing that I do is if I find myself thinking negative thoughts, I put the word peace in my mind because it stops me from going on with the negative talking. It sort of stops me in my tracks. And then I can say, okay, well, how could I have said that better to myself?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you talk in the book, it's interesting because, Jodi, when we talk about spirituality, many people think about the spiritual and then they have a hard time understanding the pathway of their own spiritual cherishing in this life as incarnated beings through the physical body. But in your book, I see you bridge it up as you talk about the chakras, we call them vital centers in Spiritism, but it's all the same, like the chakras and this work of the more energetic part of us and the dimensions. I see you're trying to make us feel ourselves as a spirit, but acknowledging the preciousness of being connected here to the physical as means for this spiritual growth, right?
Correct, yes.
So can you tell us, because in your book you talk extensively about other aspects in regards to our intuition and how the chakras, they are correlated with the dimensions of understanding. Can you give us some examples regarding it, please?
Yes. Well, the first three chakras are really about survival and our place in the world and how we self-express ourselves. They also are where the ego and karma is contained in these three chakras. And right now we are moving out of the third frequency, third chakra, I say as well, because I think it's part of the God source. And we are starting to go into the fourth frequency, which on our chakra is the heart chakra, which is very interesting because the fourth frequency is all about love and compassion for self and for others. So that's the dimensional frequency that we're coming into. So it's really a beautiful thing, and we're being asked to clear out all the things that are not working in our lives anymore so that we can live in this space and co-create our world coming from the inside out instead of the outside in. So that's, I hope that helps you.
But Jodi, talking to several people, they even come to spiritist centers or in spiritual centers, and they're like, I understand all this. It reminds me of a passage of a disciple with Jesus saying, I like what you're saying, I feel the joy, but in real life, it's so hard to actually put it into practice. And they claim, but Vanessa, they say, I have to work hard. I have to provide for my family. And if I don't do it, we're not going to make it. So they have a hard time bridging up this ideal with their daily needs and the pace of life. So what would be a possible solution for people who are thinking like this?
Well, I think that's what's real important is, yes, we're all really busy, but in order to have, a more meaningful life for you and your family, it's important to at least establish some quiet time for yourself and for your kids, or you have to have some quiet time. And I'm not saying you have to have an hour. It's just learning to get quiet within oneself, even if you got to go in your bathroom and lock the door. And just be quiet so you can breathe and experience what your day was like and what people are saying to you or what your children are saying to you. You need to have a time to pause. We're so on automatic that we've forgotten to pause, and we can't create a better world and a better self and responsible children without taking a moment to breathe and try and come to some understanding of what's going on in your life, what's going on with your children. So, I would say please take 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night if possible, and take a moment of quiet time. Even ask your kids to have a moment of quiet time. So I'd say that is, very important and key for all of us so that we can hear whatever it is that's being shown to us that we miss because we're just busy going to work and, and we're not taking time to even evaluate if this type of lifestyle is for you. I mean, yeah.
That's a good point.
So,
right?
yeah. I mean,
inevitably,
for me, I was in a very high pressured, very fast pace in my life, and I realized I needed to get off. It wasn't serving me, and it wasn't. I was going down fast because all I was doing was fast. So it's okay to do fast, but do you want to do fast? If you do, great. It's all a personal journey.
Yeah, it's a personal journey, exactly. And it's interesting because inevitably, would you agree that inevitably, as we take this time within ourselves, when we go back to the world and do what we need to do, we're going to naturally have a different attitude, and this different attitude is going to naturally create a new environment and change our dynamics of life, our organizations, because it has to transform itself, right?
Yes. It's coming from a different perspective. It's all about how you see something, and if you take a moment to look at it from a different perspective, it allows you to go, aha. Wow, I didn't know this was going on. You need that aha moment or that quiet moment where you can breathe and go, you know what, I need to stop a moment and see what's going on. Everything's going to wait. It's not going anywhere. Even your job. I mean, take some time at night, or we make time when we need to make time.
Yes, that's so interesting. And in your book, I want to go one step deeper. When you talk about the dimensional frequencies, you mentioned somewhat, but I would like just to go a little bit more if possible. You talk about the third, the fourth, and the fifth dimension, and how we can actually boost ourselves in our spiritual journey by understanding a little bit more about it and where we need to work. You say that before getting to the fifth, we need to work on the fourth. You mentioned about the heart and love and compassion. Can you now explain the third and the fifth so we are more like, on the same pathway with you regarding it, please?
Right. So the third dimension is where we have been for hundreds of years. We've been in that role of ego, talking to ourselves, and accepting what's going on, and all of our karma and past, present, and future is based in third dimension. So third dimension is more of we have been working from our ego selves. And the fourth dimension is about the internal heart self. And the fifth dimension, once we've come through the fourth dimension, which I'll go back and explain, the fifth dimension allows for, once you come from fourth dimension and you're co-creating with the universe, you're able to see and manifest in the fifth dimension. So we're not there yet. Some people are. I mean, it goes in, people have their own understanding. But fourth dimension is all about clearing our stuff. Because the more we clear, the more we understand and the more we see what is actually going on and where we're headed towards. Does that help you? Yeah.
Yes, it does. It's very interesting. You know, often there is a message that talks about real humanity, and it's in a book named The Living Spring, and it says that, you know, the Christ came here to teach us to be real humans, not angels. And when I read, when you talk about the fourth and the fifth dimension, that's how I break it down too. Like, we're not here to be angelic yet. We're here to be real humans, which is something above, like consciousness. It's mind over matter. Because when we are in the animal kingdom, it's still like very instinctive, but we needed to react less and take action with consciousness. In a way, when I read your book, that's what I understand. You're helping people boost their awakening. And the name of the book, The Call of the Day. You know, we're entering a new year, Jodi. And, you know, in the United States, we're going through a great, interesting, transitional moment. It's about a deep awareness. And I see your book coming at such a beautiful time. How do you see your book fitting and helping people at this very time where we're beginning a new journey in our government and the social awareness as well?
Right. Well, it's a time period where, as we clear ourselves, we're able to see where our place is in the social structure, what it's being responsible for what it is we would like to see in the world. You know, like President Obama said the other night, grab your clipboard, you know, and, you know, that's it. You know, we're what it's calling all of us to do is get very clear on what it is we want our society to look like and to start building on it. You know, it's all up to us individually and then collectively. So it's a huge time period for all of us to clear all the nonsense in our lives. It's not serving us anymore. You know, you just got to come to that realization. Some things are serving you, and it's great. So you know that if it's serving you and it's serving your family, then that's a yes for you. You know, you want whatever that is in your life. But if there are other things, you know, we need to let go of them and then become proactive as to what it is we would like to see in the world.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at, yeah.
Yes, you're right.
It's a big, it's a big time period, but it is a very necessary and a good time period. As, you know, crazy as it is out there, it is a necessary step for us to all come together and be the society of what we would like to see.
Yeah, you're right. And have you been receiving more and more people coming to you because of this transition that are coming and they are lost or they don't know what to do? Would you say there is anything specific that people, besides, as you said, President Obama mentioned, like go, do your share, and take action instead of just waiting and demanding? Would you say, is there anything other, like more spiritually speaking, people can do to actually cooperate at this time?
Well, spiritually, I think the quiet has to start first. Then I also do meditation and prayer. I think that's a huge part. I think on a daily basis at night, write a gratitude list, because we all need to come from a different space at some point in the day. And even though you may have had a bad day, there was something in that day, maybe it was a smile on somebody's face that made you feel good about yourself or positive, just that one little inkling. And try and come from the positive spaces instead of the negative spaces. And believe me, I know how hard it is. But it is hard.
Yeah.
However, let's just start. Let's just start doing small things. And when you do small things, you're going to have the feeling of what those small things feel like and how it makes you feel better and happier. And so little by little, you start to understand, look, if the more I do this, the better I feel.
Yeah.
And the,
exactly.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the better parent you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very interesting you're saying that, that we really need to evaluate what is most important, right? The fulfillment of our daily demands, or stopping for a moment and hugging somebody you love and giving them the attention that they need, and being with them, saying, the world doesn't matter to me if you're not well, so I want to be with you. And oftentimes, as you know, Jodi, we wait for the most critical days of each other's lives so we can reassure one another that we're there. And it's so funny, because we take for granted so many beautiful things, and only when we don't have them any longer is when we pay attention and give of ourselves. And we don't have to wait for it, because we can cherish in our mindfulness. So, of all things from your book, I would consider the constant call to this mindfulness. And I see that when you're bringing us to understanding more of our energetic flow through the chakras, you are asking us to be mindful of our moment here and now, correct?
Correct. Very important.
Yeah. So you say breathing, meditation, visualization, as you said before, quietness would really be helpful mechanisms to help us in that regard, right?
Yes. And also in our homes, we can put little reminders of things that make us really happy, like a picture of the ocean, or put a little Buddha out so it reminds you to be quiet, just little things that I call them touch points that bring you back into who you are, brings you, that peace.
Yeah.
That's really what we're all trying to create, is peace within ourselves and with others. And I know it doesn't look that way now, but it's one step at a time. And the more we look at ourselves and the more proactive we are, then we feel really great about ourselves, because we're creating what it is we want and what we would like our world to look like. So it's a very, very big time period,
Yeah. It's interesting. Abby Sher from Baltimore wrote to us, and she said if we could relay a question to you. She is now beginning a pilot teaching meditation mindfulness in Baltimore City at a charter school, and it was very powerful. The kids even cried on the last day, and she said, how do you think, on your experience, we can reach these kids in the city that feel that they are trapped? You mentioned about teaching quiet times before, she said, but would you say anything else at a larger level, community level?
Well, at an individual level, first, let them know they're loved, and let them know you're there for them. They just want to be loved. Yes, their world is hard, but give them a hug, tell them they're loved, and be there. Us as teachers need to be there, like they can come ask us questions. That's what I tell my grandchildren. I go, if there's something you need to know, come talk to me. It's all okay. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you grow. So, just to reach out a hand, and, it'd be good if we had a place where children could come to talk, or creating a talk thing as well, so they can understand what's going on in their communities, in their home, and giving them as much love and hugs as possible. And that helps them tremendously,
That's interesting. That's very interesting. This need to really express love. Some people claim, that's my last question before we prepare ourselves for final comment, Jodi, but many people claim that they love and they don't need to keep telling it. Mm-hmm. Would you say it's not about telling, but actually expressing it?
Absolutely. Words are words. People need to know. They need to feel it. And it's not just our children. It's all of us want to know we're loved. Give somebody a hug today. Hold the door open for somebody. Simple stuff. It really changes the other person's life and yours, because you've made them happy. And you showed them that you care. Caring. So it's showing, it's not telling. And showing requires time, with the children. It requires us to give them some time at home so that we can hear what it is they're going through, or what they're learning, and how they could learn it better. And, the bottom line is that's what's the most important, is family. The rest of it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It's we were given the gift of our family to love us and share. And, if we didn't get it, we get it some other way. We get it through our children. You get it through nature. There's ways to have that love around you. Nature just loves us, and it gives us so much back. So that, if it's not a person, there is the environment.
Yes, you're right. Wow. So beautiful. We feel so blessed that you're here with us, that you took the time also to write this book, Jodi. And I want to refer to those who are listening to us that they go to the website joyjourneyofyou.com to get more information about Jodi Hershey's works and the books, and especially this one that was just published, The Call of the Day, a beautiful book that really, it tells so much about what maybe you think you know intuitively, but when we see it manifested in those pages, it's a true invitation to the heart. Beautiful cover with a door opening up and light coming through. Thank you so much, Jodi. I would like to ask you for a final comment, if you may, please, to the listeners, especially those who are listening to us around the world and may be experiencing a tough time, and they really need to hold strong with the certainty that everything is going to be fine. What would you like to share and say to them, please?
That know that you are loved. You are loved from spirit. You are loved around the world, even though we don't know you. We have compassionate hearts, and we're sending out love and prayers to all that are suffering. And try and find one piece of light in your day. Maybe it's a reflection off the water, or, maybe there's a little tree next to you that you can look at and ask for it to bless you. And, it's all, there is some little thing through our suffering. So try and find that, and know in our hearts of hearts that we love you back, and we will send prayers and love towards you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Jodi. I'd like to give you a big hug in the name of Kardec Radio and the whole Spiritist community for your kindness, for your open heart and for your beautiful wisdom sharing with us here at Kardec Radio. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch with you, and hopefully we'll bring you back as soon as something else you share with us in this beautiful world, okay?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me again.
Thank you. So, dear listener, here we are, the call of the day. Just go to the website, joyjourneyofyou.com, and get to know more information about Jodi Hershey's works and the books, and especially this book, The Call of the Day. So much to share with us and so much bridged up into the teachings we have been sharing with you through the Spiritist teachings. And if you're listening to us, don't forget, it's been, 60 days that every day we have this online community at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's on Facebook at Kardec Radio. At 11 p.m., we're there live every 11 p.m. every day. It's been 60 days. It's the third book we're reading and studying together. First was Paul and Stephen, then Good News, and now Thought in Life. By Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, we're entering a new chapter tonight at 11 p.m. It's about the cradle. And it goes hand in hand so much with what Jodi was telling us. You see the universality of the teachings, the beautiful minds of the beyond coming back and telling us, stay strong. And as Jodi beautifully brought to us, it's the certainty that everything is all right as long as we are awake, as long as we don't go back to sleep in our consciousness and we keep helping one another. Service is the key to a new life. No wonder Kardec in the Gospel according to Spiritism shared with us, without charity there's no salvation. Salvation meaning this inner illumination. So right now we'll give you a short break with a beautiful message titled Joy. Jodi Hershey opened this beautiful venue on joy, and here's a message. Joy by the Spirit Made through Chico Xavier for you. You can find this message in a CD titled Enlightening Messages, or in the book with the same name at the Spiritist Society of Baltimore's website, ssbaltimore.org. Right after this message, we're going to wrap up the program with you.
Joy. Joy is the song of the hours when God caresses your passage through the world. Everywhere flowers bloom as smiles of nature, and the wind combs the field's hair with resting music. The water from the fountain is liquefied care in earth's heart, and the small golden grain of sand is a message of joy from the ground. Do not allow, therefore, that your difficulty transforms itself into numbing sadness for others, even if everything appears to conspire against the happiness that you await. Lift your eyes to the smiling face of life that envelops you, and bolster joy wherever you go. Bless and serve always, even among tears. The rose, although subjugated by thorns, still offers its perfume, and sunrise awaits generously for the night to finish in order to renew itself. Daily, in a party of love and light.
Yes, love and light, and here we are. It's about this inner illumination. As Emmanuel said yesterday, and we were reading this beautiful, beautiful book, Thought in Life as well, it says that inevitably we want to reach this cosmic consciousness. But to reach it, we need to really, we must seek goodness, feel it, visualize it, and mold it with all the resources we can master. And hello, dear friend. Happy Saturday to you. And we're going to answer to a few questions here that were sent to us by email. And for now, we have people asking us about where we can find, beyond Facebook, the videos that were recorded about the study sessions of these books. Kardec Radio has a YouTube channel. You just go Kardec Radio, and once you're there, you're going to find the YouTube channel, all the different playlists, and you can listen to it. You can watch it as well. If you have any question, just go to kardecradio@gmail.com, and don't forget, we will be here. We will be here for you, answering to your questions. Right now, we have just one more message before we actually open the line and talk to a few friends, okay? Just right now, the prayer of service, and we'll be right back with you.
Prayer of service. Lord, teach us to walk the enlightening path of service. Give us the strength to destroy the heavy fortress of our wrongdoings, the courage to pave the way to freedom from ourselves, and the means to unlock our hearts in favor of our neighbors, surrendering to them at last the treasures of love with which you entrusted us. Wherever we walk, may pain become less hurtful, ignorance less aggressive, hatred less cruel, darkness less dense, lethargy less shadowing, intolerance less destructive. If we do not yet possess the positive qualities to enrich our terrestrial journey, help us to mitigate the injustices that surround us. May we, in your name, distribute fraternity and renewal, and use with happiness the sublime and invisible gifts of silence, comprehension, and renunciation. Lord, who taught us without words the supreme lessons of simplicity in the cradle and of sacrifice in the cross, leading us toward spiritual development and divine resurrection. Guide our uncertain walk and help our sanctified propositions, so that your will, merciful and just, be unto us, with us, and for us, today and forever, wherever we may be. So be it. Joy. Joy is the song of the hours when God caresses your passage through the world. Everywhere flowers bloom as smiles of nature, and the wind combs the field's hair with resting music. The water from the fountain is liquefied care in earth's heart, and the small golden grain of sand is a message of joy from the ground. Do not allow, therefore, that your difficulty transforms itself into numbing sadness for others, even if everything appears to conspire against the happiness that you await. Lift your eyes to the smiling face of life that envelops you, and bolster joy wherever you go. Bless and serve always, even among tears. The rose, although subjugated by thorns, still offers its perfume, and sunrise awaits generously for the night to finish in order to renew itself. Daily in a party of love and light.
We are now naturally answering questions from a listener. Thank you so much, Enchantress, for calling us. And as we were mentioning here, she's feeling the call to cleansing and to transformation and to this recycling of emotions and really the physical. And it makes so much sense. We really need to renew ourselves. And, it's worthwhile declaring, it's worthwhile opening our closets. And don't wait until spring. Now is the time. It's the time. Everything is telling us it's about time that we bring everything out from ourselves. What's happening in the United States now, politically speaking, socially, is an external manifestation of what is happening to us. We're seeing clearly who we are, what's still within us, and we need to work on it. So it's time for all of us to go to the closets of our inner selves and to our homes and opening up and think about the people who don't have anything, who need it, and things that you may have, they don't serve you anymore. And if you think one day they're going to serve, for now, it's all about the now. Don't forget that everything that is material is a bridge to the spiritual, okay? So thank you so much, Enchantress, for your kindness in calling us and sharing your thoughts and feelings. We now invite you and everyone who is listening to us for a prayer. In this prayer, let us pray for this beautiful moment of transition on the earth. As this week we entered the inauguration of a new president and its governance, let us pray that we cooperate with thoughts of kindness, thoughts of hope, courage to do it right. And women are coming together. Yes, there is a march that we are putting together, and we need to team up, whether men or women, right, to make sure that we are compassionate and loving, as Jodi Hershey mentioned in this book. When Christ Jesus came to the earth, he came to tell us love. And all you need is love, love. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need, and I do too. Dooby-dooby-doo. Let us pray and pray with the love of Mother Mary, sweet and kind, gentle. Let us feel this grace of Mother Mary, the gentleness of her touch, of her presence, the feminine within us, men or women. Dear Mother, Father, God, thank you for bringing us all together, for the opportunity of being useful in your universe. Thank you for the learning experiences every day. And at this moment, we would like to pray that waves of kindness and gentleness shower our beautiful Washington, D.C., our beautiful nation of the United States of America, calming down the waves of aggressiveness. May we have gentle thoughts, kind feelings, trusting that only love is real and everything else is just a lack of it. May we sow seeds of love with you and never stop to await for its sprouting, because it is on you, dear God, everything else that is to unfold. Thank you for inviting us to this sowing of love. And may we be attentive to you, to your call, to your kindness. May people around the world feel the vibration of your sweet invitation and find consolation in their hearts. And so be it. Oh, it feels good. Don't forget, tonight at 11 p.m., we're going to be Facebook Live at Kardec Radio's page. And if you have missed the previous ones, just go to YouTube. We have a channel, Kardec Radio, and several videos there where you can watch the reading and the discussion of these amazing books as we're following 30 days of inner journey with Emmanuel in thought and life. In a week from today, we'll have more for you. Just go to kardecradio.com. We have so many beautiful things going on. And by the way, a channel 24/7 for you. For now, we wish you lots of blessings. And until next program, when we're going to be here with you, God willing.